I think this is part 4. We impress upon the prosecutor that the defendants will have to be arrested and not given access to computer services which the International Criminal Court usually allows detainees. These technologies have to be carefully decommissioned or they will be reframed and sold for another purpose. This has happened with Bayer's barbiturates, first used as a method for killing in the gas chambers of concentration camps, then repackaged as a so-called silver bullet pesticide to protect crops, now being promoted and sold to public health authorities as the drug of choice for assisted suicide. At the very minimum, if developing countries do get state-owned biolabs, research laboratories and vaccine manufacturing facilities, they will be blamed for substandard biosafety standards and consequent leaks and quickly removed from WHO's logistics supply chain and fined as per their contracts. Professor Richard Klaproth or myself will give evidence of the Indonesian military and WHO partnership, covertly facilitated and implemented by Save the Children Fund, allowing the treasonous proliferation of nuclear submarines, 8 AI-driven nuclear submarines for Australia to patrol 365 days a year in undisclosed territories, including Indonesian waters, paid for by Britain and the US. They were to be built by France, but the AUKUS partnership breached that contract. Save the Children Fund officially left Indonesia the year before they did this work. Planning permissions and safety studies for Wi-Fi and large-scale wind and solar farms and substations turn out to be published by companies dissolved more than a decade ago, leaving no one financially or operationally liable. This takeover of all areas of life politics and their entire jurisdiction and decision-making is a gross violation of human rights by the defendants and must be stopped. Inviting delegates from every member state before and after the simulation exercise gives the orchestrators an opportunity to infect, plant in the luggage of, or in any number of ways attribute the pandemics that follow to a particular country as their source. As their fault, the country's biosecurity protocols will be called insufficient, giving the WHO again the justification to seize control and override the national response plan or medical advice or social concerns and trigger Article 12. James Roguski will give evidence on the fraud and violations of the WHO Treaty, the UN Pact for the Future, and the International Health Regulations and amendments. The defendants are using a myriad of weaponized technologies. One definition of a biological weapon is that it cannot be traced or stopped. mRNA uses the gene editing of microbes, and they cannot be traced or stopped. Microorganisms are even more dangerous than GMOs, engineered organisms, because they multiply much faster, mutate randomly to try and repair their genome, use horizontal gene transfer, and dominate and disrupt the natural microbiome, be that human digestion or immune systems, or by collapsing the fungal network upon which plants rely, and therefore us. Biotechnology companies have lobbied governments to accept gene-edited products as substantially equivalent to breeding, but in breeding no DNA damage takes place. Jeffrey Smith from the Institute for Responsible Technology or myself can give evidence on this. I'll stop there for a moment.